Okay, welcome to the Spiritual Healing 2 class, and it's great that we meet today. We're going to the outer edges of metaphysical healing, as I said here in the beginning in the class. So this is a recording this is a moment of an online class. It's not a recording yet. As we speak, it happens. So you can watch this on YouTube too. So I'm happy that you're here whenever you look at this. And so great thing today is the idea of metaphysical healing. Like I said yesterday in the collected essays class, like the chapter of metaphysics would be great to work with. And I don't do that in the collected essays class, but I do it right here. So that was, I couldn't resist using it. And that has a very specific reason. So I'm using that, and I'm using the Miracle Healer's Handbook, some part of the word text where it is about miracles, about literally the mechanics of metaphysics. But first of all, we don't do anything here. So you can sum up A Course in Miracles and the books of Joel with 4 digits, which is relax. This is like the main thing. What is already is, so you don't have to make is. It is here. It is now. It's happening right now. You don't have to look for it for tomorrow. You don't have to prepare yourself for it for tomorrow. No, it's right here. So there are many ways of letting go of your ideas. And there are many, aspects of your life that you call your life that has nothing to do with life itself. Or you call it your existence, but it has nothing to do with life. Life is. Life is. It's happening right now. You don't have to do anything for it. It's what you are. And that must give you an idea of release or relaxation. It's like, oh my God, yes. I love to feel that too. Well, you do. You do. So it is the preparation that we do now is just, in fact, allowing the denial to flow away, to slide off of our shoulders. That's all denial that we hold on to, the denial of the love of God. So here we are in our healing process. It's happening. We're here in our healing process in which we let go of the denial, let go of the resistance to listen to this or to actually accept this as the only truth or as what is. The only truth would immediately call up so much, react to so much resistance because you don't like to be told what the truth is. And there's a real reason for that too, because it is what you are. Now the invitation for you then in this is then to accept this truth about yourself, to allow that to be. So in the practice of coming into a healing experience or into our healing consciousness, it is good to know to relax into that, to try to not feel the resistance or let the resistance go to it. And you say, what do you mean for resistance to truth? Why would I resist truth? Well, this is because this is an old habit of you doing that. And it's an old habit because you actually demonstrated a great part of your day. So then we say in healing, this is also helpful. We say in healing, okay, you learn to embrace even your corruption, your resistance. You're not wanting to hear this. And at the same time, we can ask for the willingness to have that be changed in us. And experiencing this over many years, many experiences, you see that the resistance is say something that is always there. It's almost like a temptation. Like in your mind, there's a part of your mind always tempting you not to accept this. And there's a part that is completely at ease with it. Well, with this part that is completely at ease with this is where we connect with right now and allow to go and let that be expanded in our consciousness. Let that be the whole thing in our consciousness. And the only thing that you have to do for that is then to let this resistance go and leave that for a moment and just allow this expansion to occur in your mind. So by relaxing your body, relaxing by breathing, by letting everything come up, but not engaging with the thoughts that you're thinking, not engaging with the feelings that you have, or the uneasiness that you feel, or whatever it is. It really does not matter. This time you're not letting yourself be distracted by it. At least that is the exercise that we do here. And so your presence becomes really here and now. And your presence is also, say, the recognition as an experience, the recognition of the truth of who you are. So literally then, the I am in you, the I am. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word is God, and God is I am. Is what I am. God is what I am. That is what is happening, and it has nothing to do with my ideas about it. So my ideas can go. I don't need them. I let this be a fresh experience of what is. So that is what you really could call a miracle. So what we're dealing here with is miraculous, is a miraculous healing, is a metaphysical healing. So how they are related to one another is where we will start with right now. So the part that we're looking at then is some of the miracle principles that are totally supporting the idea of metaphysical healing, of spiritual healing. Now the interesting thing is with spiritual healing, if you look for a definition in Wikipedia, for instance, you can't find one. So it's immediately translated into energy healing, which is very interesting to me. I looked for it just a moment ago. Metaphysical healing is, that is in there. So the definition would be everything that has to do with before and after and beyond physics. That's the meta part in the metaphysics. And there's some old Greek, Aristotle was already writing about it. He kind of discovered the word, or used the word for the first time. And that's all Wikipedia. So now we go back to the miracle principles, principles that are noted in the Miracle Healer's Handbook. And I'm using 2 of them, and maybe 2 more, because I just found some more that are really to the point too. So one of them is this. A miracle is a service. It is the maximal service you can render to one another. It is a way of loving your neighbor as yourself. You recognize your own and your neighbor's worth simultaneously. Okay, so that's a beautiful start. Miracles are thoughts. Thoughts can represent the lower or bodily level, or the higher or spiritual level of experience. One makes the physical, the other creates the spiritual. Okay, so this is an important one. And this is an important one to remember for now. Miracles are thoughts. Thoughts can represent the lower or bodily level of experience or the higher or spiritual level of experience. One makes the physical and the other creates the spiritual, the beyond physical, the spiritual, the metaphysical. Miracles transcend the body. Say, oh yeah, once you get me reading those miracle principles, I can't stop because I love them. Miracles transcend the body. They are sudden shifts into invisibility, away from the bodily level. That is why they heal. Miracles transcend the body. They are sudden shifts into invisibility, away from the bodily level. That is why they heal. Jesus says this, I inspire all miracles, which are really intercessions. They intercede for your holiness and make your perceptions holy. By placing you beyond the physical laws, they raise you into the sphere of celestial order. And in this order, you are perfect. Well, here's the fundamental, say, miracle healing or spiritual healing miracle principle. I inspire all miracles which are really intercessions. They intercede for your holiness and make your perceptions holy. By placing you beyond the physical laws, they raise you into the sphere of celestial order. And in this order you are perfect. So I'm going to leave it with these for now. And maybe I'll do 2 more later, because these are so to the point too, in the sense that they have the aspect of spiritual healing in them. So now you can read these. You can read these principles, but then what? Then it's like, how do we apply this? How is this, like, what does it even mean? What is being shared? What does that actually mean? What is miracle healing, or what is metaphysical healing? What is it that Jesus inspires us to do or to be aware of? Because miracles are thoughts, so thoughts can be in your awareness. That's what we know with the bodily level thoughts too. But now the spiritual level thoughts, how does that work? So to maybe come into a deeper sense with that, it is good to step back out of the sentences that we have read, and try to, if there's some simplicity that we can understand, that we can grasp in that sense, or where it starts to make sense to us. So one thing is that a miracle is not understandable. So that makes it really hard. So what is a miracle? Well, I cannot give you a definition of miracle. I can offer you one, because you're entitled to them. It's your right, it's your right to experience them. And it is everything to do with the healing of you, the healing process that you're in, or that what you can give to your brother once you accept this for yourself. So that doesn't bring us further either. It's like that doesn't bring us further. The idea that we cannot even define a miracle. It is not possible. So we miss it if we define it. We limit it literally if we try to define it. And at the same time, I can offer you a miracle. A miracle is a service, as we read before. It's a service. It's like loving your neighbor as yourself. That is how simple that is. And the beauty of it is that it is really on that level that it takes place. It's really recognizing, the miracle really helps you to recognize that you are the dreamer of the dream, because it literally lifts you out of it for a moment. It's a shift into invisibility. So you cannot imagine that, but you can experience it. And you can ask for it. That's the best thing. So with the daily lessons, we go that direction. Like, I'm entitled to miracles. There's a lesson coming up soon, from today. So that being said, how do you offer a miracle? See, if a miracle is a service, it is also allowing that to happen. It is not under your conscious control. So it is more like you are open and aware that you can give one and that you can receive it for yourself. That's why it is a very loving act, so to speak, a very loving thing to do. And then what happens when that occurs? It's like suddenly you recognize a moment of connectedness together. Suddenly you feel the energy flowing in your awareness at the same time as your brother. It's like suddenly it's like, oh yes, oh my God, how easy is this? I can't believe it. I didn't have to do anything for it, and it's happening. That is a miracle. This is a miracle. Yes, absolutely. This is a miracle that we are here together, that we can feel each other in that sense. Like we feel connected to one another. We come into this communication together. Are we shifting into invisibility? Well, that might happen. Why not? See, all these things, and this is why I mentioned also the Metaphysical Healing book of Joel, the pamphlet, at least the pamphlet that I invited you to read. That is that it is in the simplicity of loving one another that this is taking place. And it is, not being afraid to be vulnerable that this can take place. And it has everything to do with your awareness, literally the fact that you see this as a possibility. If you think like, well, I have no idea, I don't think that's going to work for me, well, then it's not going to work for you. That's how powerful your mind is. So you close the door on it. And this is, why would you want to do that? That's not necessary. That's just a distraction into resistance, in fact. So keeping your mind open to receive this, being aware that you can offer this, and literally by saying like, okay, I would love to offer a miracle or see what it is. Show me how to do this. Is this the right time? Is this the moment that it's going to occur? Am I inspired in this moment to do that? Because like I said, it is not under conscious control. So that's also good to know. It's not that you can force a miracle upon anything. So and Joel talks about this too in the Metaphysical Healing. So he has a certain description of the idea of body. So and we can read that in a moment, because that's why I printed it for myself too. It's like, oh, that's great to use that, because see, anything at this point, anything that helps you to expand your mind is totally helpful in healing. Like it's all about expansion of ideas, thinking in terms of everything is possible in God, instead of I'm defined by my own limitations and I accept that. These are the opposites. So whatever can train your mind to become receptive for expanding your awareness in this is welcome. It's lovely. So if this works for you, that would be lovely. One of the things that Joel said, for instance, about the body is this. It's on page 3 of the Metaphysical Healing pamphlet in the Collected Essays. Let me see where I start. Yeah, I can start here and see where we end up. So when we look out upon the world with our eyes, we are not beholding our bodies. We're not seeing this infinite, divine idea of body. we are beholding a more or less universal concept of the idea. As we see a healthy body, a beautiful flower or tree, we are seeing a good concept of the idea of body, flower, tree. When we see an ailing body or a withered flower or decaying tree, we are beholding an erroneous concept of the divine idea. As we improve our concepts of idea, body manifestation, we term this improving of concepts healing. Improving of concepts is healing. That's what he says about this here. See, and that was a bit like, what does he actually mean with that? Because healing is not a concept. Like healing is in fact an effect. So healing is an effect of something. It's not an actual occurrence. And he is sharing that somewhere too. Let me see if I can find that in a minute. I don't know if I'm going to... I did not... No, it's okay. So, improving of concepts is healing is then... Well, that is not how that's going to work. Because of the fact... And this is not like... I don't want to discuss Joel's expressions. He has meant it in a certain way for sure. But to make this very clear for us is that healing is an effect. It is not about the result. No, it's about the recognition of your true source that brings back the memory of, say, communication with the Creator. So that is what the healing is. That's what the miracle is. It's like suddenly remembering, yes, and there's a triangle, my brother, my father, and me. Like suddenly we experience each other as one. And that is where the healing takes place. That's what healing is in that sense. So it is not, it's the effect of it. So anyway, we will dive into this later when we start to look at the questions that I put up for this, to look at the idea. Okay, so what do I see as my body? What is my body? So Joel gives a description here. It's like, well, it's actually not what you see with your physical eyes. That's not the body. It is not something that is born and will die. Now that what you are is a body. That's how he uses this. Like that what you are is a body. It is infinite. It is an infinite body. It's not limited to time and space. See, these are fundamental ideas that are underlying your, expansion of consciousness, so to speak. You need these ideas in order for you to see this in a proper perspective. And also to open up the possibility of looking at everything in a different way with your spiritual eye more than with your physical eye. Like with your physical eyes, you literally don't see that. But there are miracles. So the great thing with the miracle is then actually perception, lifted up enough, can lead into knowledge. Suddenly you start to come into the experience, and that is not like an extension of your perception, if you know what I mean, but it's more like, no, you start to discover the loveliness of your brother in recognition of your connection with God. And then the perception doesn't matter anymore. But at the same time, you see your brother, and you love the loveliness and the recognition that you share with one another. That's what you love about being together in that moment. And that's a total miracle. And that has everything to do with healing. And it has not anything to do with the body and with perception. So it's like, this is how then perception can shift into knowledge, like into a living experience of all of this. And why am I always coming back to this? Because it will tell you more about truth than words will ever do. So this is all about making it, say, possible in your awareness to let this happen, because that will help you to become certain in your steps in healing. When you meet someone, you know that that is a possibility. You've experiences with it because you have experienced a miracle. You discover that you are the miracle, that you literally take this with you and you can extend it to others and offer it to others. And being inspired by it, like the inspiration part that was in the miracle principles, like I inspire all miracles. So these are inspired. And that is exactly as how we started our moment here in class, with the idea of becoming still, becoming present here, and say becoming so still and receptive that you start to listen to the voice, to literally to the one teacher. You start to listen to the voice, which is going to inspire you to let this happen, to let this miracle happen, or to give this miracle away in the right time, in the right place, to the one that can receive it and that can share it with you. So it makes you ready to receive it, and in that you extend it to your brother. So these are just basics. So how does the body part work in this? So like the description of the body, as Joel does here, is then an infinite body. It is not born, it will not die. It's infinitely there. It has nothing to do with the physical body that you know to be yourself, or that you think that you are yourself. So that's also an expansion. It's great to let that idea sink in and discover more about your experiences with it. So what I share a lot with the ones that I meet in a healing moment is try to call this thing not my body, but a body of this body. This body does all kinds of things. This body is aching. This body does this and this. So to dislodge from the idea that you are that you are misidentified as this thing. Because, see, in the miracle that we are experiencing, this body shifts into nothingness, in fact. You're not even aware of it. So you might have a lot of experiences with that during meditation too. You have pain somewhere. It appears to be somewhere. You have pain somewhere. You meditate. It seems to be completely gone. You pick up one idea about being in this world again, and voila, there's the pain again. So it is really like entering into timelessness. This whole body idea is gone. It is not there. Like it literally shifts into invisibility. Also in a sensory thing, in sensory sense. So that's a good thing to know too in healing. See, all this is just helping to expand your awareness. And what happens when you expand your awareness is that there is more say, space for light to enter into your mind and undo the ideas that you could call as darkness, or ideas misidentification, or say patterns that you were used to thinking but are actually not true at all. So it really helps you to come into a new experience of yourself. That's why it's so great to have a class like this. That's why we come together. That's why we practice this. And I say, like, yeah, train your mind and do this, do the daily lessons, and come and study this. And just all for the expansion of mind. Because if your mind is open, you literally, everything is available. You know, it's like the creative flow is literally flowing through you. And creative not necessarily in terms of making things. That's not what this is about. But the creative energy, you can call that the passion, your love for your brother. That's where you become co-creator, allowing this live energy to flow through you and expand through you. So, in fact, it's your natural function. It is the only thing that's natural about you, that has to do with the true nature of who you are. Okay, so coming back to what Joel says here. See, Joel brings it back to ideas too. It's like ideas can really limit in a sense. So that's why it's good to let go of them. He says here on page 2, we are now concerned only with the truth of being, the truth of God, man, idea, body. This activity of this truth in our consciousness is the Christ. The Christ, Savior, and or healing influence. Okay, healing influence is also interesting. We're going to take a look at that. Failure, he says, failure to heal is the result of much misknowledge of the truth of God, man, idea, and body. And this misknowledge stems primarily from orthodox religious beliefs, which have not been rooted out of our thought. Few realize to what extent they are blinded by superstitious or orthodoxy. So there's only one answer to the question of what is God. The answer is I am. God is the mind, the life of the individual. So that's, Jill gives that to us. Wow. Okay, so then here's another question. He comes to the next question. What is man? And the answer is that man is idea, body, manifestation. My body is idea or manifestation. Likewise, my business, home, wealth, these exist as idea or manifestation, expression, reflection. For this reason and for no other, my body is the exact image and likeness of my consciousness and reflects and expresses the qualities, character, and nature of my own consciousness of existence. Okay, so this is a bit what I was talking about a moment ago. So it's like whatever you think about yourself is going to determine how you are experiencing yourself and how you are able to heal. Because if you see yourself in a limited perspective, how can, say, totality or perfection enter into it? No, you already have a set definition of yourself. So this is always the difficulty with doing this, or the challenge, is to keep your mind open and thinking that you don't have to know, you don't have to understand this. Please don't try to understand this, because it will, say, you try to force it into a limited frame of reference, and you think that then it's going to work, and that is the part that doesn't work. So the real miracle then is leaving that completely open and seeing that any definition that you give it is a limitation. It has nothing to do with what it is. So that is beyond the physical, beyond the three-dimensional world, beyond your description or limitation or definition of yourself, of what you think is possible, of what you think this is, about what you think sickness is, or what you think the body is, or what you think this world is, or what you think that you are, or what God is. You know, all these things that you think about it are not what it is. So, yeah, my teacher always said it this way, and he invited it continuously, are you ready to leave this all behind and come with me? It's like, are you willing to leave your nets of matrix, of connectedness in the world, in definitions of yourself, definitions of others, or your place in the world? Are you willing to leave that behind? And then you see that there's some kind of vacuum created. Like, yes, it sounds very inviting. It sounds so exciting to at least do that for a moment, to step out of what I think is and experience something new. So this is exactly the point that you come to, where miracles are possible, where everything is possible, where you discover, oh, wow, I can almost hear perfection. I can hear perfection. I feel this bright light energy in me, and see that it does all things, literally. That there's nothing asked of me to do anything. No, but to be aware of this part, like where I'm totally a part of. If I see this activity or this creativity, when I feel this passion of life going through me, to come into a state of grace or gratitude, that is where the healing is inevitable. That's where this happens. So this is where the invitation for this moment. Are you willing to step into that? To leave all this behind, to leave your nets and enter with me into this place. Say, being willing to be, shifted into invisibility, shifted into the, fourth or whatever dimension that has nothing to do with this place. Are you willing to go in there? Even though you don't know anything about it, you wouldn't know how it would look. But are you willing to do that? This is really what this is about. And this is the invitation in this moment to you. Yeah. Can you feel that? Like, wow. That's so beautiful. Thank you for that. Oh, thank you for that. Like, wow. In this moment, anything seems to be possible. Yes, it does heal. Yes, it shifts ideas about yourself. It feels angelic, doesn't it? Like there's presence here. So relax, release whatever you can. No, there's nothing to do with your definitions. No, it's happening. It's happening. It's happening despite of all of your ideas. And it's a real possibility. Wow. So thank you for that. So in class we continue now with see what happens. We share ideas to one another, helping each other to open our mind even more, or inviting the light in to guide us in doing this, to recognize our oneness. So we continue with that. So thank you for being here, and see you soon.